And it's really grateful that it's going to be on food and not Monday. And then I have a fixer, a night on Will Taylor. But I'll probably make that fix tomorrow. Big house. It's there. Two full bags, one half fry. I'm not. It's raining. It's I'll have already got
No. Mike, you want Carolyn?
We're going actually. This week, I thought it was really significant, and it's really what it is, I believe, we plan to do this. Well, that's really not us, the beginning around the time. We were asking for the 2 days to the house.
Okay, Carolyn? Where's that? Okay, please. Over. Crystal, sorry, I said Janice. I was looking at Janice behind you. I was like, this is Crystal Slam. Congratulations, you lived today. Love it. Right, then Aaron. Oh, Aaron, yep, and then Leah.
On the left side of the left one, when they're getting completely clean, they got every unit down to the side. But it was really big, so we are gonna start putting this in the plan, so we're gonna do it, see if it's in this model, and then from 1 to 3, that we do it, that we do it. That way they're gonna run around that cleaning well. And then I have three commercial leads, on the program, we're gonna work, so right now, so you on the bottom floor, one in the third floor, that would be better than on the board, and the bottom to the end.
Cool, yeah. Cool. Sarah, and then Mike, and then we're done.
So,
The entire city.
the rain. North Wilson, that one was like 54. And then, the rest of this is good. It's probably in, Congress coming up in the phone show, and the doctor having an off-market property, and then over the. And it's, like, still halfway around with it.
Favorite price.
So one's a lot.
I know, I saw a few eyes and ears perk up. Cool. Mike? Should we just call her? I'm just kidding. Should we just call Felicia? Cool. All right, that was fun. All right, so we are pivoting a little bit because we've got somebody who's got to sneak out for another appointment. So we are actually gonna move right into the panel, and then this is what the rest, so panel people, if you want to make your way up here. And then I've got some slides from Gary Keller's vision speech, and I've got some notes directly from him that I was gonna share. And then we will get into celebrating the rest of living, and we will kind of round out the meeting. All right. You could sit wherever you want. Okay, so we are just getting back from family reunion. We actually had a pretty good group. I think we had 10 or 11 people that were there from KW Living. And for those of you who haven't been to family reunion, it is a lot of walking. So Felice said that her biggest aha was she's never staying at a hotel that isn't directly connected to the convention center again.
Exactly.
That was hers. But we had fun in Vegas. We did some cool things and we had some interviews and we did things. All right. So real quick, everybody knows who you guys are, but can you go through real quickly and just say if it was your first family reunion, your 8th family reunion, who, for all of you. So we'll start with you, Leah.
So I'm Leah Jones. Hello, everyone. I am excited because this is my second family reunion, and I actually went last year, and it was I had a good time. I'm not gonna lie to you. I just like Vegas.
It's Vegas.
But actually seeing the culture for KW, like just everyone there, like all of the people all around the country and from other countries, probably, I know people were there from Canada and other places. It was really just dynamic to see how one company could grow into what this has grown into. And I've only been with KW about 3 years. So for me, seeing the magnitude of it, it's amazing. And I would suggest that if you can go, I would suggest any of you all to try to make it for next year.
Love it. Crystal, how many family reunions for you?
This is my first one.
This is her first time. So they give you like a lanyard that you wear and then it says first time attendee at the bottom. Like you go and find all these fun stickers. So that was the first time I realized it was your first time, Crystal. I thought you were there before. Mike?
I believe it was my fourth time. It might have been my first time.
Okay.
Something like that.
First time in Vegas, right?
First time in the Vegas, yeah.
Okay, cool. Felice?
We did the-
Even though I've been with KW for over 10 years.
Wild. We forced her to go. Okay, so I want you guys, everybody went to different classes and I'm gonna need you guys to use your mom and dad voices here. And adult, like our loud voices, just because I already do. So we don't need mics. So all of you guys went to different classes. So I'm going to ask some questions and if you sat in some of these classes, I want you to share some of your own, okay? But I want to go through and please, I'll actually start with you. Sorry, I already started with Leah. What was the most impactful class that you went to? So just so you guys understand in the room, some of the classes that you sit in are panels, just like this, of top agents, top listing agents, top buyer agents, top investors, top people who do really well with wealth in their business, and you just sit there and you take as many notes as you can, right? Some of them have slides behind them, some of them are just classes and they speak at you. And so over the 3 or 4 days, you get to pick what you want to focus on going into that family reunion. So if you're pretty buyer heavy and you want to focus on listings, you tailor your agenda to go to listings. Okay, so with that, what was the most impactful class that you sat in on, and what was the biggest takeaway that you had?
Well, I think, I spoke last time in mindfulness and.
Like 7 a.m., right?
Yeah, it was like 7 a.m. and. And it wasn't anything. And it was more of like, you sat there and you were asking questions like, what did you see that inspired you? And so you kind of like really think about it and you know what these memories. So for me, one of the things that was impactful for me that I saw that all these mega agents, all these people that are doing all these huge things are just normal people. You know, Gary Keller is a normal. You know, he's just running his business, and so that really like, you know, made me think like, well, why can't I do that too, you know? And so, it just, you know, some of the things I said to think about your business 5 years ago, think about your business today, and then think about your business in 5 years, like where do you want to be in 5 years? And then one of the things that really, the statement that, Jamie Kern said was, you become what you believe you can achieve. So if you believe that, well, I can't call cold call, or I can't do this, or I can't do that, then you're not gonna do it, because you become what you believe. And so that was what really take away from me is like, I always say, well, I don't like cold calling, that's not me. Well, then I'm not gonna do it, because I'm believing that I can't do it.
Sure.
So that was the biggest takeaway.
Love it. It's interesting, so like small little story that you said, Gary Keller is just a regular person. So we had 6 guests which are agents for other brokerages that joined us at family reunion from Elevate. And one of our guests got injured. And he went to the hospital, him and his wife went to the hospital with my guest, with my recruit, and spent the entire night at the hospital with them. So I was like, now you have to join Keller Williams. Obviously, you don't join Keller Williams now. Anyways, but he's just a regular guy. Yeah.
And you forgot to flex and say, you were texting Gary Keller.
I wasn't gonna flex that, but then I was like, well, I'm the team leader, so like I have to text him and thank him. So then I texted him the next day and he responded. Anyways, that wasn't my story to tell. That was my small flex at the end. But yeah, it was cool. He's totally a normal person and yeah, amazing. Okay, Mike, what was your biggest, the most impactful class that you sat in on? And then what's one takeaway that you had from it?
Sure, just to piggyback off of that, I know it wasn't a class necessarily. What's her name again?
I thought you said what's yours?
Jamie
Kern Lima.
I wasn't familiar with her. I don't know.
Yeah.
How many people.
Do you guys know, anybody know who Jamie Kern Lima is?
Yeah.
You
He created It Cosmetics and then sold it for like $1 billion.
But she was told no like 12 times before, right? Like,
She actually had really poor skin. Yeah. Yeah.
She was like a newscaster, right? She had
Yeah.
rosacea or something.
Yeah.
Like that. So anyways, I really like that because she
Yeah.
was very, first off, you could tell, like very authentic. She wasn't like, you know, she was like
Very
a normal
authentic.
person, really cool. And the thing I took from that, it was like, what is your, she phrased this like, what has your self-doubt shoot?
Right.
mhm.
Like, and it was kind of one of those, like, I got a little emotional about it, like, oh my gosh, yeah, like tons throughout the years, where like, I'm happy where I'm at with my business now, but like, how much, further along, what could I have done if I hadn't had that doubt at some time? So that was really impactful. And see, as far as classes, I really enjoyed it. I don't know a little bit, but it was about following, which is something I really want to, and I put a message out there, which I'll follow up on BW Facebook. But I really want that to be a pillar of my business. I've always done with investors and Sphere, whatever. But I really want to be like a top market share in my community. You know, some of those communities you associate people, right? Like Hudson, you think like Carol Morrison, like that, right? Solon, you know, these kind of people. So that's something I really want to like. I really want to get that market share in these ladies. There was 4 ladies up there and they were great, you know what I mean? But like, it really just seemed to me like they were just normal people and they had systems in place, right? And they were tracking that. And that's something I've never done. Like I just kind of like show up and see what the day takes me, which is which is not building like a business. So for me, I really want to systematize, track return on investment, and take market share from Howard Hanna.
Specifically from Howard Hanna agents in the Heights.
The two agents I'm not going to retire.
Yeah. Well, and I think throughout the vision speech, they kept saying like consistency, like, and you guys are gonna see some of these slides, and if you watch the vision speech, you already saw some of these slides, but like 2024 was the worst year for home sales since 2008. Like they were literally at the same number. So like if it felt like that for those of you that were licensed then, while it's a different economy, it was the same for real estate. And so what they were saying consistently, not to use the same word, but was staying consistent. Like you have to, whatever you're gonna do, like I think Jamie Lima actually said it. She's like, you gotta go balls to the walls or like ovaries to the walls in everything that you do. Like you have to stay consistent. Like there's no, literally balls or ovaries. There's no, like, we're not half-assing it anymore. We're not saying like, we're gonna do some for sale by owners and then we're gonna do some investors, like whatever you're going to pick and choose for your business, you have to stay consistent and you have to be like the hero of that thing going into this market. So I love that you said that. Okay, Crystal, what was the most impactful class that you had and what was the takeaway?
Class I had, it was attracting, high-end clients. But one of the things that I did like is that they plan everything. Okay, so they work backwards. So they plan what client that they want to attract. And then they figure out, okay, where does this client hang out? So, one of the things they said, what is a high-end sport? And everybody would say golf, but they said skiing, which I didn't think of that, but so they, you'll go to wherever they hang out. So if it's first-time home buyers that you want to attract, then you would go to schools to try to find the person, place,
Target.
that, somebody that's,
Target.
just
Target budget.
Target.
Yeah.
One of those places that, that you try to find those people or, wherever, whatever you envision yourself being or your clients being, that's where you hang out to attract those clients. So that, I thought that was really good.
Yeah, and that was a luxury one. Okay. Leah, most impactful class and what was your takeaway?
So, just really being putting eye on, like, you don't even just have to like really recognize what really impacted you, like out of the whole 4 or 5 days that we were there. I will have to go back to sharing with Mike, piggybacking off of Mike, because for me, Jamie Lima was the most impactful.
Well, we were all crying.
Yeah, I mean, it was amazing. Like the one question that she asked is, she said, what is one way you're hiding in plain sight? Like, they're all agents, and some of us are not shy, and some of us are kind of shy, and maybe not so prone to go up to people. But she asked, what will it cost you in 5 years if you have not changed anything in believing the lie that you should play small and not know it to your husband? Or launch that campaign or show up or just do whatever you set out to do. So it made me really think, like, okay, 5 years from now, where do I really want to be? Like, am I gonna stay where I am, or I'm not gonna take it up the company to just elevate? So you really just can't, basically, the gist of everything she said is like, you can't let a no stop you, because we just talked about, she had over probably 100, it was so many no's, so many people, Sephora turned her down. QVC turned her down. Everybody turned her down, and she would not give up. And I mean, it was so impactful. Like, I don't think that person says, if you're sitting there, at the listing equipment, right? If they choose someone else, don't let that stop you. If the buyer rejects you, it doesn't matter. There's so many people in the world. How many people are there's so many. It's like you just have to come from an abundance mentality. And that's my word for the year, is abundance. And I'm just, now I'm publicly saying that because you asked me, I never told y'all. So my word for the year is abundance. So I'm just sharing with you all, just to have not to have a scarcity mentality, just have a large way that you're thinking, even if you don't see it. Like, I mean, her story is, just in her book, it is called Worthy. I'm like plugging her. Like, I don't know if you all want to grab it, but I'm gonna, be getting it as well. But I was touched by her. That was more impactful than anything I expected, because I feel like if you have confidence, you can do anything. You can learn anything. So just don't be afraid. I mean, I think that's what I'm getting out of it. So if you are afraid, find somebody who's not afraid of ask them, how do you do this? Like, you'll find somebody to help you, to pull you up. So that's what I got.
We got something else she said, since we all enjoyed that really made an impact. Because remember, she was saying she got to like this final meeting with the company, she thought they were gonna basically sign her on. And I said no, and she was like, and she looked at the guy and was like, you know, feedback, he's like, do you want me to do? And she said, he said, I don't think women would buy cosmetics from someone that looks like you. And I was like, oh my God, can you believe, like, we all have these like self-conscious like things, and if somebody just literally like said that to your face, you could either just be devastated and go away and like not succeed. But then the cool thing, I wasn't expecting that, she was like,
You're
sat
wrong.
there, whatever, but yeah, he's
Yeah.
like, but he's wrong,
Yeah.
He's wrong.
and she was right.
And did
so-
she come back and hire him?
Yeah.
Something like that, something like that.
Yeah, she's like, and then he ended up. working for me. So good.
That was rad, yeah.
We're at the end of the vision speech slides, and I didn't throw this into the questions. Was there any ahas or anything that you took from the vision speech that Gary talked through, or maybe the 10 bold truths that he talked through that you want to share?
Try. I just remember,
That's
I
it.
said you can't try anything. I mean, you can't, you don't, either you do it or you don't.
Mhm.
And so many times in life, I mean, I could, non-work related, I feel like I tried so hard to do this or tried so hard to do that. And actually, I didn't, I actually accomplished exactly what I set out to do
Mhm.
each and every time. So it just made me think of things differently and to even take the word try out of my vocabulary. And it's not either I'm gonna do it or I'm not gonna do it, and there's no in between.
Yeah.
So that was the main thing.
Yeah, well, and he kind of correlated that to like when you go into a marriage, you're like, all right, we're gonna try to make this work, right? Like nobody's saying that. You're like, I'm committing to this marriage. So like for like maybe newer agents in the room, right? Like I'm not gonna try to go do open houses. Like I'm gonna be the best open house king or queen that I can. I'm gonna commit to doing it, right? So I think, and I have something written down that I'll share, something about 78% of people that like write down their goals and say I commit to them are more successful than those that don't do those things. So yeah, that was huge.
I was gonna say the numbers I thought were really interesting, the graph, and you hear this, but it's to see it, and admittedly, I'm not like a student of the numbers, I could be better at that, but I believe you said last year was like the worst year in what, 20 years in real estate?
Yeah, 29.
As far as homes sold, like, it didn't feel like that to me. I mean, maybe it did to some, I don't know, but it didn't feel, so if we're already kind of like at the bottom, the worst it's been, and you look at the graph and take COVID out of it, COVID obviously kind of threw things out of whack, but take it out of it, it goes like this, right? And it goes up, I have short periods where it goes down a little bit, but then it always goes back up. So I think that's one of those of like, I appreciated the honesty, and you realize like, okay, the next year, the next 2 years, you might have to kind of like tighten your belt kind of thing, and really be a little more whatever, and that's what they kept saying too, which again, I'm really bad at. I gotta delete DoorDash and Uber Eats from my phone, but we kept saying like, live below your means and this sort of thing and
Yeah.
whatever. And so that's what I kind of took from it, is like, okay, the next year or two might be tough. But then, we'll come back up out of it.
Was anybody at, I know you and I were talking about it and taking pictures of it, but remember the panel where they were talking about like the events that lady does?
Yeah,
And we were talking about this. So they did mega agent panels on day 2, and there were 2 that were really big. One of them was a guy who was so sweet and so humble, and he was very young. And he like blew up on YouTube, right? And he just wanted to become the local expert in his market in Greenville, South Carolina. And he just started recording himself on YouTube, and it became huge. I don't know if anybody remembers that or has a bunch of takeaways from that. I don't know that I have too many from that.
I followed him on Instagram. I can find it, like, and that was kind of cool to see, because I wouldn't say he was like a huge personality.
No, he wasn't. Like, that's what I'm saying. He was but like, I think he said that his YouTube videos are 8 minutes long. And I think the whole crowd was like, what? Like 8 minutes seems like a long time. But he said his call to action is in the first 36 seconds. So like typically when you record a video, you're like, I'm gonna educate, I'm gonna provide some market stats, I'm gonna show everybody where my new listings are. And then I'm gonna put a call to action at the end saying, if you're ever interested, or if you know anybody looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate, call me. He said, I go 8 minutes, but what the statistics show is that people are typically only watching it for about 2.5 minutes. And so his call to action is in the first 36 seconds. So I thought that was kind of interesting, especially even though thinking through like social media and going live and creating videos and content and all that, I think a lot of times we throw the call to action at the end. And like, I would say probably 8.5 times out of 10, people aren't making it to the end. So maybe switch that and pivot a little bit and throw that call to action in the beginning of your videos. So people sort of, I mean, they know what they're getting into, and then they can stay for the value if they want to.
How edited were his videos? Were they like highly edited? Was it professional? Was it like him doing like?
They are with a
Self-esteem.
professional now, but they were not when he
Weren't-
started.
yeah,
They weren't.
And I believe he's only been doing it for about 14 months.
Yeah, and they were good, but they weren't like unbelievable. They were pretty
No.
like basic.
They were very basic.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he basically became, and his stats were on the screen and I don't have them. He became the local expert in like Greenville, South Carolina, just by doing those. Yeah.
And I can add to that because I took a social media class. It was really good. And it really, I think the biggest thing for what we do is, I think most people, we just overthink it. You know what I mean? We just think that people are gonna like judge us, but it's like, you just really have to show up as who you are. That's what people are looking for online. They're really not looking for the imposter you. They're looking for you. And you're gonna find your people that are gonna gravitate to you. And I think with the gentleman on YouTube, it's like, some people are gonna watch your videos and some aren't. But if you keep being consistent, and consistency was a big thing with the social media class, like you just have to be consistent. Like if people are looking for you, like sometimes you'll send out a video and then they're like, and you're doing it for a while and then you just stop. They're like, well, where is she at? Like you, like they want people they can trust to show up. Like you can't just like stop. So if you start doing it, you really need to be consistent. I mean, because if you don't, then they're gonna kind of correlate that to you maybe not being a person they can count on.
Yeah.
So I would just say show up as who you are and get the help that you need. There's so many people who can help with videos. You can take a friend with you to film. I mean, you can make it fun. And so I feel like at this point, just learning what I've learned, you just have to do it, even if it's not perfect.
Yeah.
Just do it.
And I went to that class too, and one of the things they said was be social on social media.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, don't be so rigid and stiff, and be authentic and
Right.
do what works for you. Don't try to do what you see somebody else doing. Do what works for you. And they said that your authenticity is what really is gonna boost your social media.
So I was in a social media one, but it was a little bit for leadership, and they made everybody stand up, which we won't do right now. But they made everybody stand up and they were like, this is how we're gonna force you to do this. And they were like, everybody at the count of 3, we're taking a video of the entire room and you're all gonna go post it. I did not post it, but I did not post it because I was like, you gotta put like music to it. Like there's a little bit more, I think, that goes into it. But like the point was just do it. Like there's so many agents not doing it, like just like not posting their day-to-day, not posting what they're doing. And we think that people don't care, but they do care. And Mike, like I was talking to somebody about you actually, and I said like, I don't watch all of his videos. I should, but I don't watch all of his videos. But I know every time I scroll by, he's doing something fun and he's like the fun agent that does the videos. Like I don't watch everybody's videos all the time, but when you see them consistently on there, they know that you are doing videos and you're doing real estate that way.
Yep.
So I do think that consistency piece. The other thing I will say that I just remembered about the guy from YouTube is he said that when he got licensed, so now he's probably 24. I think he was like 21, he might have been 18, I don't remember how old he was. But he was like, people my age aren't buying houses. So I couldn't go to my sphere of influence. And so very quickly in his business, he realized that he had to find a different market to then present these YouTube videos to and start farming to and start attracting to his business. And so he went for people who were downsizing into Greenville, South Carolina or outside of. And so a lot of his YouTube videos are around downsizing into or downsizing and getting out of South Carolina. So again, I think just focusing, like if you're a young real estate agent getting into this, or if your sphere of influence isn't exactly what you think it should be, you don't have to market to that. You just have to find, right, where you're going to, where your niche is going to be, and then you have to be consistent with it. So I think that was like the theme too, was just the consistency. Mike, did you have something to add?
Oh, I didn't know if you were gonna lead into the lady that was part of it too.
Oh, go
that does
ahead.
the events.
Yeah.
So I actually was texting Mary Jo this, that was so we do, like Mary Jo and I, on the same team, local model team. We do like giveaways. We just did like a Valentine's Day date night giveaway and I didn't do a decent enough job like capturing people's information, right? Like that's the whole point of it. You give away something, you want their name, email address. you put them-
It's to build our data.
Our database, right? This lady like took it to the next level and I can share like the questions. I think I had you take a picture of it for me.
Yeah.
But the question she asked was like even next level. It was like, do you have a referral? Do you know somebody looking? Do you remember Danielle or Mary Jo?
Okay, so I have a few of the questions. All right, so does anybody know like reverse bowl giveaway, like a very easy way to say, I'm gonna give out $100 gift card or a $500 gift, but you have to call in and do all these things, or you have to fill out a Google form, right? So she does events in her database and giveaways at a very high level. And so every single month she has an event or a giveaway that she does. So she posted something on the screen and it was her Mother's Day giveaway bundle. And the questions that she asks, and I don't know that I have all the questions, but I have some of the stats. The questions that she asks is, would you like to purchase a home or an investment property? Curious what your home, land, or commercial property is worth in today's market? Yes, no, thank you, in a few months perhaps. Considering selling your home, land, or commercial property? Yes, no, maybe. Do you know anyone looking to buy or sell real estate? And then would you be interested, I think this is a cool one. Would you be interested in one of the following offerings? And there's 6 options. So it's a monthly newsletter that they can check. It's a career night. Ding, ding, ding. It's a home builder class, it's a real estate investor class, it's a home buying class, or it's a seller class. And so you're giving them the option to say without saying, I might be interested in buying real estate by just going to this class and maybe I'm a little further into the pipeline. Or it gives them an opportunity to say, I may or may not be interested in selling my house, but I don't want to tell you that I'm selling my house because I think you're gonna call me. And so she has, I have some of the results, and I can send these out to anybody, but basically from one of the ones that she had, like 34 people said they wanted a CMA. She got 20 referrals from it. 30 people went into a career night. 14 people showed up to a seller class and 48 people showed up to a home buyer class and 110 of them signed up for the monthly newsletter.
And then like the
And
majority
it's a
said,
Google form. It's free.
the majority said no, which is like fine, right?
Yeah.
She still got a ton out of it. And then, you know, even the ones that said no, she still got their information. Hopefully
Yeah.
in the future, they'll do something.
Do you know this lady's name?
I can get it. I can get it and send it to you. Yeah, she was, I don't know. Actually, I might have it. It might be on the screenshot. Let me see.
And while you're looking for that, I think one of the other panelists, I forget, it was kind of in the same realm of giveaways and stuff. He said he always invites every single person in his database.
Yeah.
And whether those people show up or not, they remember it later on. Like he talked about 20 years later, getting a listing because that person just remembered that he had sent them all these invites. And she said, sorry, like when he met up with her 20 years later, she was like, sorry, I could never make any of those events, but I really appreciated the invite. So don't just think because those people aren't coming to 1 or 2 of your events, that they're not seeing those invites and they don't appreciate it. So just, I think it goes back to the consistency thing of just be consistent, invite those people, because eventually at some point they're gonna be like, oh crap, I remember that person sent me like 50 invites last year for stuff I never was able to go to, but they are a real estate agent, I know that. So just keep that in mind.
The name, which I'm texting you right now. I only have the last name because it's the Gillett Home Team. It's Gillott. She's in Oregon, so I'm assuming we can find that.
Lover coach?
I don't know.
I
She
should
didn't
launch
share.
Yeah, I think that's a
Make
good
sure.
one. Just look her up.
Yeah, we'll just look her up. Anyway, so she was giving away something pretty large, like she was giving away a catered brunch for 6 people. And then a cleaning gift certificate for 2 hours, I think like before the brunch happens, like, but you guys don't have to go big every single time. You could go ahead. And she gets her sponsors to sponsor it,
The
right?
cool thing about that was she went to a charity that she already supports and bought that as a package from the charity.
Oh, I missed that.
And took that and re-gifted it.
Yeah. Okay, real quick, and then we'll get out of here. Well, we'll get out of here.
You know, it's Laura.
She's definitely she's a lover coach.
Laura.
She's above you, yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, she was great. Okay, so I think sometimes when we go to these classes or any classes, and you guys know this, like we get a lot of information, we take a lot of notes, and we come home and we're so tired that we do nothing from it. So what is the one thing that you've done or plan on doing in the next 7 days, that you took from Family Reunion that you're implementing in your business?
I already had a meeting with Michaeline about one of my listings that's kind of stale, because I went to a class on listings, stale, how to revive stale listings.
Mhm.
And one of the things it said was pull it off the market, retake new photos, restaging, like, because if you just withdraw it, you can't revive it actually with photos and things. So you gotta completely take it off the market, but have the seller say, okay, we're gonna list, and then you always wanna list on Friday, because people are making plans of what they're gonna do over the weekend. So if you list on a Friday and it goes into their email Friday, they're like, oh, I'm gonna, cause you wanna do an open house right away, like
Right.
Saturday. So they're like, okay, Saturday, oh, this came on the market Saturday, I'm gonna go see it,
Right.
So Michaeline is a stager, so we already have an appointment with my client on Friday to go see the house. They already agreed that it's great. I told them, look, I said, it's been on the market for 3 months. It hasn't done anything. It's like fishing. I gotta pull the reel back. I gotta put a new worm on the hook and I gotta throw it back out. And they loved it. They loved the idea, and so one of the things I said was, I'm gonna ask for help.
I love that.
So for me, I definitely, like I said, want to slow down. It's always tough, right? It's like, when do I slow down and actually like work on my business? Because then when it gets slower, you want to like go on vacation, chill, whatever, so it doesn't happen. I have ADHD. I actually joined, if anybody else does, there's a Keller Williams ADHD.
Did you join the community?
Join the community, and as I was leaving, and Rick and I were waiting for our lift, I met the lady who started it.
Yeah.
And so like we were chatting and like, it's pretty rad, like you can go on there and get referrals from it.
Then you quickly get off the unexpected.
Well, there's a thing to fill out, there's this like long thing to fill out if you want referrals, and I'm like.
Why would you do that?
Well, that's what else can go on there, I guess. Where's I going with this?
I know.
Business.
What is-
Business, so I really wanna, I'm a firm believer in pillars of business. I know like Megan wouldn't agree, right? Or Journey, they're like all in investor.
Sure.
My pillars are investor, sphere, social media, and farm. And so I wanted to write a business plan and with some side, this was not necessarily one of the panelists, but I was talking a lot with folks there about AI. So I took ChatGPT, had a conversation with it over like 3 days. As I got back and wanted to like take all this I learned and like put it in there.
Yeah.
And it literally spat out my whole business plan. I mean, it's crazy. And I'm taking it and like digging deeper, digging deeper, digging deeper. And then leveraging and systematizing everything. Because otherwise it's like too overwhelming. Right?
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah,
I mean, it's fun.
I'll show you if anybody wants to see it, like it's pretty rad.
Yeah.
How about you?
Yeah.
Crystal?
So for me, what I've been doing, I'm planning on meeting up with different people. I have a girlfriend. Well, you never know who people know, right?
Sure.
So you utilize the people that you know that is an influence over other people and trying to get more in front of these people to get more clients, being more strategic on who I want to be my clients and being in that space in order to attract those people, to create a relationship with those people. So that's what.
Okay, so for me, I could say 1,000 things. It was a lot of things, you all, that we learned in these classes.
But the problem is we can't implement them all,
Yeah,
right?
I
And so
mean,
you really have to like,
You have to focus in
Yeah.
on something, right? So for me, it's gonna be, I'm coming back home here on an educational tip to learn, to study in my business. I need to be a student of my business. So with that being said, sometimes we're just servicing clients and trying to get new clients, but we're not learning like things that we need to learn. And so I have a pretty large investor base right now. It just kind of grew, and I don't even know how it grew, but it did. And so with that being said, I need to dive into some of the things, that lingo that they're talking, because I need to be well versed in it as well. Even though I'm now an investor myself as of last year, I still need to learn. So being education-based coming back is gonna be big for me to study what I learned and to actually, meet with people to get more information, go to more masterminds, and just being in forums like we are here to learn. So that's where I'm gonna be heading for the
love
year.
that. Anything else you guys want to add before we? All right, thank you so much. Can we give them a round of applause?
Next year's in Atlanta.
Come on, we had a slide for that. Okay. I don't know who put this in here, but Keller Williams received award for best of the best. So they achieved $2 billion in profit share. And they've got 865,000 downloads across all their popular podcasts. So that's exciting. I didn't know that slide was in there. Okay, we've got some February birthdays, and if you guys were here last month, we now celebrate with cake, and we all sing happy birthday. I'm just kidding. We don't have to, what? Do we miss? Did we miss one that just started with, okay, so now we have to sing and you have to stand up, Carolyn. I'm just kidding. And it was a big one. It was a big one. Okay, well, that's why we didn't do it, because you're here. I'm so sorry. I think this was probably made before you onboarded. And we've got cake in the back. Who's the cake from, Michaeline? Okay, Sweet Treats by, do we have business cards anywhere for them? Okay, so here's the point of this. We get cake every single month because I heard that that's like a thing here at Living. So we get cake, you guys try it, you write down in the back how good or not great it is. And then at the end of the year, we are going to pick what the best cake is. And so is it vanilla and chocolate back there? Perfect. So at some point, if you guys are sticking around, please grab a piece of cake. Please, for the love of God, there's 2 big cakes back there. Grab a piece of cake and then, or you can take it home, but you got to judge before you take it home. So you've got to judge on the paper back there so that we can make sure that we get, yes, you can take it back. Cool. All right. So happy birthday to all of you guys. All right, Chris, can we give you a few minutes up here?
I'll make it quick. 3 quick hits.
Thanks.
Start some of these this way,
Oh,
start
here.
some of these this way. Thank you. You are. Passing along. Hello. All right, for the market, interest rates are in like the mid to upper 6s right now. Basically, all eyes on employment and inflation, which we've heard that for the last 2 years, pretty much. The Fed meets again in 3 weeks, but there's a 97% chance that they don't change interest rates at all. So we're probably going to be kind of stuck here for the foreseeable future. I don't expect anything barring like major headline news is going to move markets all that crazy. Expect to be in that like between 6.5 to 7, maybe even 7.5% for the foreseeable future. The flyer that is coming around is for our fast track program. That's a fully underwritten pre-approval. So someone hasn't found a house yet, but we collect all their documents, they do a loan application, we send it into underwriting and get it fully approved up front. They are technically credit approved at that point. The only thing we're waiting on is an appraisal on the property, maybe an updated pay stub if, you know, that lingers on there. But the nice thing about it is if all we're waiting on is an appraisal, I can close in like 10 days. So once the appraisal comes in, we get it right back to underwriting, they approve everything, we're good to go. We're doing more and more of these lately, trying to make people more competitive. So we're going into the spring here. I'm sure you'd agree, it's probably going to be even more competitive than it is already. This is something easy that doesn't cost the buyer anything other than a little bit of their time to make them more competitive and able to close quick. So something to keep in mind. And then just a heads up, tax bills, obviously with Cuyahoga County, the reappraisal. Those tax bills were paid a couple weeks ago. In the coming months, your buyers, regardless of if they close with us or any other lender, are going to start getting escrow analysis. And what that is, all right, we paid your tax bill and now your escrow account is short. When an escrow shortage happens, they adjust the payment accordingly. Your payment gets adjusted not only for the shortage to recoup all that money that they took out, but also to cover the next bill when that bill comes up again in 6 months. So for some people, you know, if your taxes went up even just a few $100s, it could go up as much as $100 a month. And I mean, Sean, everyone knows Sean Hadley. Sean the other day, he's doing a refi quote for a buyer in Shaker Heights. This buyer's taxes went from $7,500 a year to $14,000 a year. So that person's escrow analysis is probably going to be $1,000 more in their payment. So if you have any questions about that, I think it's just a good thing to get ahead of. If you're looking for reasons to call your past clients, check in and see, hey, did your taxes change? Did you get a new bill? Do you have any questions? And if there's anything I can do to help, call me.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. We're moving along very quickly here. All right, so we're gonna do some agent spotlights and I'm gonna yell them out loud. Okay, so Nicole Hester nominated Danielle McCandless. She said she's always so helpful. She's a great leader. She's friendly and she's a good motivator. And we think so too. So congratulations, Danielle. All right, and then Danielle McCandless nominated 3 people as well. Do you want to share or do you want me to share? Okay, I'll share. So she nominated Nicole for grit. Even with all the obstacles life has been throwing at her, Nicole has continued to stay focused. She moves forward and she works her business. So Nicole, we appreciate you. Danielle, thank you for nominating her. She also nominated our girl Donita for grit. Donita has a work ethic like no other. She shows up for every training and she's always eager to learn and grow. We do know that about her. So Donita, congratulations. And oh my gosh, he's here too. Oh my gosh. Oh, he's wearing the same shirt, he says. So Danielle nominated Mo. Nobody would have known. Now everybody knows. For 360 team player, Mo is always available to help agents on our team, ready to pitch in where needed and consistently working his business. So very exciting. Awesome. All right. We've got a few more. So Trish, where's Trish? There she is. I was like, I helped her get in the door. Michael nominated Trish for grit. Trish recently joined our team like a few weeks ago. Okay, a month ago. As an experienced agent has dived right in. She has fully integrated to the team's rhythms, jumped into place launch, works her tail off, and already has her first buyer pending on our team with her first listing going live very soon. Trish is showing up with her nose to the grindstone and is ready to do whatever it takes to win. Congratulations. That's huge. All right, we got one more. Felice nominated Melissa Sykes for her exceptional team and family spirit. While I, Felice, was attending the conference, Melissa went above and beyond to support me by assisting my clients without hesitation. Her willingness to step in ensured that everything ran smoothly, allowing me to focus on the event without any concerns. Knowing that she was taking great care of my clients gave me peace of mind, and I truly appreciate her dedication and teamwork. So thank you, Melissa. All right, I have a few more that I was just gonna love on. So while we were gone, there were a few people holding down the fort here. So I just wanted to give my love to Gabrielle and Lynn and Janice. You guys helped run the vision speech here. You guys did commissions, I hear, right? Everybody got paid in the room. And we didn't hear anything from anybody, or I didn't hear anything from anybody. So I appreciate all of you guys and what you guys did while we were gone. And I just want everybody to give you a round of applause. So thank you. And then my last one is, I just wanted to shout out Tara and Felice and Crystal for bringing, I know Crystal had to scoot out, for bringing guests to family reunion. We had a really good time with them. And I think we're gonna close a few of them to bring to KW Living. So we're really excited about that. So thank you guys. All right. All right, we've got like 4.5 minutes to get through the rest of it. So we've also had 9 agents join Living in January, which is an exciting number. February is not that exciting. So January, we are going to ride the tail of it. So Joseph Reese, Shavita Powell, Anthony DeFrancesco, who also just closed his first deal with us after being here for just a few weeks, which is so exciting. Nicole Upshaw, Adrian I think Cannon. I thought it was Cannon, might be Cannon. And Gara Hill and Lakia Turner, Susan Pampanetti, and Charlie Holly. So everybody that joined, welcome to KW Living. We're excited to have you here. We'll be smaller next month. Okay. We've got some January cappers. So we've got, if you guys don't know what a capper is or you're a newer agent here, that means they are earning 100% of their commission with Keller Williams Living here. So Sharon Morris, Mary Veda, and Anastasia Strugatsky. So congratulations to all of you guys. All right, Ricky, you got anything? Yeah. Gary.
Again, we have some time, beginning of the day, like, just one about it, but I think we'll do a head to head of everybody, because we can definitely have, that topic, if you want to do it, you can use that, but I think it'll be an opportunity, and we have to, I think we can do about, not only have to have
It was Ricky's first family reunion. He's like, awesome. You want to share this too?
Michael seems to be going, maybe go to shop, and then with the magnet, or the ladder, and then the camera. Grand picture, Mike Roberts, Tony Sababi, Ed Shannon. Harrison Oshie, and Steve Sebastian, really cool to see you for the summer, all the bicycle, and more about.
Woo. Congratulations, guys. Okay, in the essence of time, if anybody has to sneak out, don't worry, I won't be offended. I feel like we need to do more than one monthly team meeting so we can come together more than this, because I always run out of time. But if you want to stick around, I do have some notes that I gathered from Gary's vision speech. I'm going to talk through them, but I totally won't be offended if you just grab cake and go. Okay, I just want you guys to know that. Actually, hold on, I'm going to come back to this. Just ignore some of these things. Okay, Amanda, I want you to share first, and then we'll go back to that if that's okay. Just so if they're in the room, they can hear it. Oh, that was very quick.
So that, we do some kind of master classes once a month at the Infinity Title Training, which is in Independence. It's the first Friday of the month. A lot of you have come, and it's an invite to everyone in the office, and the one that we're doing this, March 7th, so the first Friday in March, my special guest is Jose. And the topic is profit first, so if we're gonna talk kind of about how agents are really chasing deals, but sometimes profit is not top of mind, because activity doesn't necessarily mean that you're keeping the most money in your pocket, and profit matters. So kind of going over how we behave with money and how to become wealthy. So profit is a really great subject, and I couldn't think of a better person than Jose to do and present and be my guest. So
100%.
sign up on that QR code, or you can go to readytomindthegap.com.
And there's already like, I would say probably a little over half the room is already booked because this was sent out already.
We usually fill, and the capacity is 60. And last month we did the path to self, master, self, it was all about, sounds like what you had at family reunion.
Right.
Where it's all about your identity and believing in yourself, and that was a really well-attended one.
Good.
And really fun. So this one's really business, but Jose, I couldn't think of anybody better.
What time does it start?
10 to 11, they're always an hour long, we don't go over.
Okay.
And.
We do.
Breakfast is provided, so you will have some food too, and everything is great.
It's at Infinity, yeah. If you go here and register too, you'll get, I'm assuming you'll get the address and everything.
Yeah. And you'll be told, come hungry, because they have a great breakfast.
Cool. Everybody get it that wanted it? Okay, awesome. Thank you. Did you want to share something real quick? No. Okay. All right. We're going to go back to this real quick, and I'm just going to dig into this. And again, I totally won't be offended. Okay. So if you did not see the vision speech slides, just so you know, this Thursday, does anybody know that we're doing a market update with Jose on Thursday at 2 p.m.? Okay. See, because things get lost in Facebook. So on Thursday at 2 p.m., Jose is leading our Q1 market update. It's via Zoom. Yep, that's tomorrow.
Okay, just.
Tomorrow at 2. I have a registration link afterwards. And he's gonna be digging into some of these too. I just don't know if he has the same notes that I have. So if you want to join for that, you're more than welcome to. I have that slide up here. Anyways, I'm gonna run through some things, and everything that I'm saying isn't on here. So if you want to take notes, you can. And maybe you know everything that I'm about to tell you. So, okay. So as you can see right here in 2024 are the home sales annually, which is right? 4.1 million homes. And you can see that the last time it was there was 2008. So Gary said, if it feels like 2008, for those of you that were licensed, it's because that's what it is 2008. Now, the economy is not 2008, but real estate is where it was in 2008. And so he said the only people that moved were those that had to. I don't know if you guys are feeling that, but that was like the 5Ds, right? Like we all know what the 5Ds are. Yes, like divorce, diapers, we know all them. Yeah.
Okay, but
Go
I
ahead.
know it says projected, but we ended up with 3.9. 1995. Because when, see at the end, it was projected, I think they
Yeah.
did the actual count in 2024, it was 3.9 million.
It wasn't 4.1.
It wasn't. no.
So worse.
It was worse.
Okay.
So it's 1995.
That it was
30
actually
years.
there. Yeah.
That's how many sites were done. It's such, so down.
It's so down. And what he said is these cycles, right, which you can kind of see, but he said, once you get into these cycles, it usually takes somewhere between 3 to 5 years to get out of. So again, the consistency factor of like, this isn't done, 2025 isn't going to be amazing, right? Like you really have to buckle down. You really have to take a look at your expenses because we're not coming out of it just yet. This cycle is going to continue for the next few years. And he also said at the end of this, he's like, none of this worries me. Now, there was a longer conversation. He went into tariffs. He went into a lot of things. He was like, none of this worries me. At the end of everything, transactions are still going to transact and real estate is still going to happen, but you have to just get a little bit tighter with your expenses. And I think you have to get a little bit more consistent in what you're doing. I don't know if you guys remember, but if you were licensed during COVID, like March 21st, everybody was like, instead of making 10 calls a day, we're making 20. Instead of doing this, like we're doubling our, like that still stands right now in the market that we're in. Whatever you're doing, you're going to have to do a little bit more if you want to keep consistent business, right? And it might be worth looking into pivoting into focusing on those 5Ds. So how can we make our niche market? There was I think Felice went to it or somebody went to it. Maybe it was Crystal. There was, or maybe it was Leah. I don't know. There was a small little breakout on divorce, like on, was it not you? Maybe it was Crystal that went to it. Anyways, like some of your education, some of the things and the value and the resources that you're providing to your clients, how can they be around the 5Ds? How can they be around divorce? How can they be around death? How can they be around diapers? How can they be around downsizing? Like those are things that you might want to consider going into 2025. Something else that I will share a little bit later is the first time home buyers, right? And how those were much lower. So anyways, we'll talk about that. This one basically just says, if you're looking at it, obviously we're selling less homes, but the volume is much higher. So we're just selling less homes at a higher rate. We already know that. They are priced higher. Yes? Yeah.
They said that 50% of the market is boomers.
Yeah.
So if you're targeting first time home buyers, that's down. What you need to be targeting is the boomers, where they are 50% of the market.
Yeah.
I found that, I was like, wow.
Yeah, so he said in this, like, the economy is healthy, but real estate is in a recession. I don't know that I wanted to end the meeting on this,
Yeah.
so, but it said like, people have a little bit of COVID fatigue. Yeah, go ahead.
And it's so powerful, still the price of your house, which was 222, is
Mhm.
almost double 20 years later.
Yeah.
So again, if you invest in houses over time, look at how much they're gonna go up, that's when you create the most wealth.
Well, and he kept saying, like, people always say, I'm gonna wait to buy real estate, when really, like, you buy real estate and you wait, right? Right.
Do it as early as you can.
Yeah. Okay, so affordability is, oh, don't know why that's moving. It's weird. Again, there's nothing wrong with where we're at. The economy is stable right now. Something that he did say about affordability is that people are spending more money on experiences than wealth. So I thought that was kind of interesting. I thought the conversation a few years ago was that like millennials and these Gen Zers were getting out of rentals and getting into houses, but it's actually switched and they're spending more money on experiences rather than investing. Something that he also said is it's kind of generational. So people that are of that age bracket saw their parents go through foreclosures back into, like, I remember the fights in the living room, like of my parents, and they were in like pre-foreclosure in like 2010 and 2011, maybe then 2009, 2010. And so there's a little bit of that scarcity mindset on that end of the generational piece of it, because they're afraid to get into a house because they saw what their parents went through, right? So what they said is the average first time home buyer right now as it stands is 38 years old, which is insane. 38 years old. Yeah. I think this might be the next slide. So like you can see, it's I don't know why these slides keep moving. I'm so sorry. I have no idea what I'm doing with Canva apparently. But you can see in 2024, it's 24%. It's the lowest that it's ever been. 1 out of every 4 buyers is a first-time home buyer. So for those of you that have focused on this, this was the opportunity he gave. He said one of 2 things have to happen. If you focus on first-time home buyers, 1, you might have to pivot and you might have to do something a little bit different because that's not where the market is right now. Or 2, and I think Felicia is doing like a first-time home buyer seminar or something, right? Like if you're going to focus on first-time home buyers, then you have to become the Cleveland realtor celebrity that does first-time home buyers, right? So again, I think that comes back to like the consistency. Like if you're going to focus on it, it is now your only focus. And then people that are first-time home buyers refer other first-time home buyers to you, right? So, and yeah, go ahead, Carolyn.
My daughter is 20, when she just turned 25, she bought her first house.
Mhm.
And now what's happening is, 2 more of her friends are buying a house.
Mhm.
So really, you just have to get in front of that person, that first-time home buyer that's going to have influence over their friends.
Yeah.
Because then it'll show them that they're not afraid and it's possible.
Right.
You know, it's different. Mari, you working, she's grew up since she was 11 and he's selling real estate.
Right.
So she believes in investing, she believes in first
Right.
home. My son is the same way, but just like you said, every child doesn't have that experience. But that's what it's gonna take to have that niche. So I think organically, because I wasn't really asking for it, but
Yeah.
it's probably what's about to happen.
Because I think to the,
Right.
Right.
Making more and more friends.
right.
Right.
And if she can educate them, right? Like I think what I took from this, I like went back home and I was talking to some of my friends who are of my age, actually a little bit older. And like 4 of them are renting still, right? And it's just so interesting to me. And they're under the age of 38 and they still haven't bought a house. So
But that's what she's doing.
yeah, you get in and you educate the others, right? 100%. Yeah. Cool. So I thought this was, okay, I don't know, it's moving, but I thought this was interesting too. The desire to own a home is like, it's just so low. Like, that's not the reason anymore why people, it is the reason, it's the top reason, but it's still so low. It's not a big number anymore. And it looks like that third one down, the desire to be closer to family and friends has actually jumped up, right? So, Gary was basically saying like the desire to be closer to your people are moving back home. People are moving closer to family and friends to buy houses. It's not just because I want to own a home anymore. That's not the reason why people are buying.
I think that's like a big story to tell is, especially in Northeastern Ohio, like my sister moved back from New York City because she could afford a house.
Mhm.
So there's like a big story to tell of attracting people in that way.
Yeah. Well, I think like if you think about the 5 Ds, right? Like desire for a larger home, that falls into there. Like a change in family situation, that falls into there, right? And so like truly, when you think about the people that bought in 2024 are only the people, or even so, like they only did it because they had to. It wasn't because there was some great desire to own a home. So, I also wrote down, somebody said on stage, do you have a solve for all of this? So if you took the top 3 or the top 4, do you have a solve or do you have a MOFR for all of these things? So if 22% of people desire to own a home, that's not really that high. Do you have a MOFR does anybody know what a MOFR is? Make offer for immediate response. It's a call to action, basically. Do you have a MOFR that hits those people and is it going out to your database or on social media? Is there, again, like kind of what you just said, Mary Jo, like the story, right? Like that call to action. Do you have a MOFR for people who are looking for a larger home? And how can you get them into one? And how can you bring them into your web? Do you have a MOFR for somebody who has a change in a family situation? So anyways, that was just one of the takeaways from that as well. Okay, only other thing I shared with ALC this morning, which I thought was interesting, was Gary said seller interviews, 81% of sellers only interviewed 1 agent. So like, we all know, like you have to be the first one in the door, right? We've always said that you want to be the first or the last. Now it's just, you have to be the first one in the door. And basically what he said is like, I mean, he said it in a very Gary way that was like, you don't have to have any talent, but really I think what he meant is like, they're hiring. Like if you can get in the door, you can show value, they are hiring. 81% of them only hired 1. Now we know that that's not always the case, but 81% of them were going into that listing appointment and they already knew that they were hiring somebody. So be the first one in the door. Cool. All right. Last quick plug here. Bold is coming to Cleveland in April, and if you're surprised, it's been rewritten, but this time it's been rewritten by Gary himself. and he released these 10 bold truths. So if you had a hard time remembering the 32 bold laws, don't worry. Now there's only 10 bold truths that you have to remember. Much easier. So he went through all of them, which I think would be a great class at some point. But basically, the entire intention behind bold going forward is you've got to work on your inner world, right here, before you can work on your outer world. And so he spent an hour and a half talking through all of these. This is what the new bold will look like. Scott Toombs is our coach. I know if you've gone through bold before, you probably know who he is. It's gonna be in, I believe it's gonna be in Fairlawn. I could be very wrong about that. Might be Brecksville.
Gary did all the artwork. He drew all these little things.
Oh, he did draw a lot of the artwork that were on like some of the slides, yes. Anyway, so small quick plug there. And then if you haven't registered for the market update tomorrow and you want to go, just take a screenshot of this or get registered for it. It's at 2 p.m. tomorrow. Jose is going to dig into all of them, but then you guys know if you've been on a market update before, he digs into our local market as well. So he's going to pull things from Cuyahoga County and Geauga County and Summit and all the ones that are south of us. And we're going to go through a market update with us and some of the other TLs. So that's tomorrow at 2. Cool?
Zoom, right?
It is Zoom. All right. And I couldn't figure out how to work the music. So Ricky, I'm going to need you to sing the song. No, I don't. I was just kidding. But next year we're in, welcome to Atlanta. So we're in Atlanta for family reunion next year. I couldn't get the song, okay? But there is a song. We were dancing yesterday. We already have some hotel rooms. We'll send some information out. If it's a little bit closer, it turns out they don't have better weather. I thought they did. They don't. It's the same weather as here, but it is a little bit closer. And I think it's the first time family reunion's going to Atlanta. So we're pretty excited about that. So if you have a desire to go, Ricky can start saving money from your commissions if you want to go to family reunion. We'll talk about that later. He's giving me some big eyes right now, but I know we can do it. And I think that's all we have for you. Our next, oh, sorry, one more thing. Okay, coming off of, so this is what Gary Keller said, and then I promise I'm done. Gary said, what you should be doing with the vision speech slides is you should be getting together with a group of agents and you should be over your favorite drink or drink. And you should be going through them so that you can understand them, because whatever you're feeling, your clients are also feeling it and they're seeing it from news outlets, and you have to be able to explain everything that's happening in the economy and the real estate industry to them. You guys know that. And so from that, Rick actually reached out to me and said, hey, why don't we do a get together once a month and we go through the market trends that are happening locally. We're going to go through trend graphics. If you guys know what that is, you don't have to know how to use it. We're going to use it alongside of you, but we're going to come out of this meeting every single month. And you know, it's the third Friday, so it's not the second Friday. We'll send out some information, guys, okay? But we are going to get together. I think we're gonna do like a Panera. I don't know that we're gonna do it here every single time. And we're gonna get together, we're gonna go through market trends, and we're gonna look at trend graphics, and we're all gonna walk out of there feeling a little bit better and a little bit more knowledgeable about what's happening in Cuyahoga County, but then more specific in the cities and the areas that you guys are working in. Cool? We'll get information out about that. It's wrong, but it is right on here. This is the March calendar. This is everything we've got coming on. We'll make sure that you guys get that. I updated because honestly, it was going to be the second Friday, and then I realized we had awards, and there's no chance I'm seeing any of you guys at 10 a.m. the next day after awards, which is why we made it the next week. All right. Our next team meeting is March 19th. We are back on schedule, so it'll be the third Wednesday at 11 a.m. Following the team meeting, we've got a 3-hour core law CE being done by American Title. So if you need your core law or you need CE or you really want to learn about law, there is a registration link for that. We'll make sure that you guys have it. But that will get you your core law.
And they're doing 3 series, right?
Yeah.
So they're doing all 3 of the 4.
Throughout the year. Yeah.
So if you do need them, check out I think there's a schedule on Facebook.
Yeah.
On what days.
Cool. Okay. Thank you so much. And oh, yes. The last thing that we don't have on here is we are doing career visioning here in our office. What? That's right. It's here. So the region puts on a career visioning class, and it's pretty large. And every time they do anything, it's always in Michigan. And so they emailed me and said, can we do living? And I said, yes. And then Ricky said, it's also the day of awards. I was like, still a yes, we're doing it here. And then we're all just gonna leave a little early to go to awards. So career visioning, if you are looking to start a team in 3 months or 3 years, or you're ever going to be coaching somebody, or you're going to be hiring a transaction coordinator, or you want to learn a little bit more about the Keller Williams systems, career visioning is for you. Okay. If you are a brand new agent and you're in productivity coaching and you're trying to figure out like dot loop and the MLS, career visioning is not for you. Okay. Career visioning is for those in this room that are considering starting a team at any point and they want to learn how to hire effective and efficient people, and then how to make sure that they have a really great onboarding experience so that they stay with you through a 30, 60, 90, through leverage, through things like that. So that is March 12th and March 13th. It's going to be held right here. Peter Chabris is teaching it. If you guys are in the KW world, you know that he's amazing. He's driving up from Cincinnati for it. And we've pushed it out a few times, but I'll throw it out today in an email as well so that you guys all have it. Okay. Yeah. Cool. All right. We appreciate you being here. Please grab some cake. And if you guys are sticking around for Pillar to Post, they are coming. They're bringing lunch. And they're going to do a 1-hour CE. Thank you guys so much for being here, and we will talk to you soon. Cool. Yes. Yes. Oh,
We send out the vision speech, slides.
I don't think so. Let's not do it though. Don't do it until after his meeting, his thing tomorrow. I'd rather drive traffic into that.
No, that's fine. Andre was just asking if you sent it out, so I'll tell him I'll send it
Yeah.
tomorrow after.
I don't think anybody's getting cake. We need to pivot or do something different.
Needs to be like a small cake.
Right.
You don't need a 2 sheets.
Back there? Oh, that, wait, where? Oh. That's not hitting classes yet.
Good job.
Thanks.
Yeah.
50 people in the room.
I know, there's a lot. I took pictures. Well, Gabrielle did.
I know, I asked Gabrielle. It's like, can you send a view to me? Okay.